Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Father, for your faithfulness to me, to us. Whether we know you or not, you've been faithful. And I thank you. But how much more can you be faithful to those who belong to you? As your word says, you cause it to rain on the just and the unjust. You're an equal opportunity God. And I thank you. Good morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning it is. Welcome to Java with Jan. I'm Jan, your hostess with the mostest. And I am so happy and thankful to be able to be with you this morning. So, in this stage of my life, I'm doing a lot of reflecting on back in the day. And for me, the back in the day is the period from 1950 to 1960 up to 1970, are the days that I'm talking about, those decades, the way life was. And I just wanted to share with you about what it was like going to school. In elementary school, we had boys and girls in the same class. We would have recess after lunch where we get to run off some of the energy before we come back to class. But there was something about our teachers also. At that time, in the 1950s, women did not wear pants to work. I'll put it that way. We wore women dresses or skirts, and long skirts, not mini skirts. The mini skirts came in the 70s, but our skirts were to the knee or a little bit below or even longer. Your choice. But it was skirts for the females, girls and women. And boys wore pants. During that time, we wore denims or blue jeans only to play in. And we wore sneakers and denim pants, clothing to play in. We wore shoes, hard leather sole shoes. And most of the time they were a kind of a tie-up. The popular shoe were penny loafers, and they were called that because you could put a penny in them or a dime. And a telephone call at that time was 10 cents. So most times you put a dime in those shoes, one in each shoe at the top. And that way, in an emergency, if you had those shoes on, you could always make a phone call. In the days of if you could only do a penny, well, there were things that you could buy for a penny. So if you had 2 cents, if you had 1 penny, you could have something to eat. And if you had 2 pennies, you could have something even more to eat, because the price of things was just really different. Let's see what else. Our hair was braided. The only people that wore wigs were adult women. They wore wigs because that was a sign of your maturity. Only women, the girls looked like girls, young girls. They didn't look like young women. We were discouraged from that. They kept us looking like young children, which is what we were, for as long as possible. In school, our teachers, you couldn't have tattoos or anything like that, at least not showing. And also, if a teacher was pregnant, when she began to show, they removed her from the classroom and put her on administrative duty. She worked in the office, but she could not be in the classroom as she began to show. Why? Because she was an influencer. We were with teachers 6+ hours a day. So we're seeing these people, the way they look and the way they conducted themselves was an influence on us. And as a young girl, you might admire your teacher. Well, if you see, you have to be careful what you're admiring. And our teachers were married. I don't ever recall a teacher being a Miss somebody and being pregnant, because we were required to address them according to their title, Miss or Mrs. So if you were pregnant, you were Mrs. And if you were not, we didn't know that. So it was important. And I remember the main influencer for me was my 6th grade teacher, Miss Law, Effie Law. She was beautiful. Black as she was dark, dark, dark. And she wore this, I don't know what color red it was. I was never able to really find the color red. I think it was maybe a candy apple red. But she was, impeccable in her presentation and her diction, and just, she was, and she was a big influencer in my life when I began to work with children in the classroom. But that's for another story. But I just want you to know that we go through life, we are influencing people, whether you realize it or not. It's important how you conduct yourself, because somebody's watching you. Until next time, have a blessed day.